I think the overall impact of Elon Musk on the Trump orbit has been really good, and his impact on the country is really good. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I know these kinds of announcements are important to presidents. These kinds of investments are important to new administrations. But, you know, I would listen to Elon. I mean, he's obviously got some information and some opinions about this, and I don't know how much of this is going to be aired in front of and behind the scenes. But
Elon Musk keeps on overshadowing Donald Trump. I mean, you had in the inauguration that it was the hand gesture, quote unquote, that is the subject of great mystery and debate. Yeah, the subject of great mystery and debate.
Are you talking about? You're not one of these salute truthers, are you?
No. What I'm. Oh, is that what we're calling it now? All
Yes.
I'm saying is no. But what I'm saying is,
My life has been threatened within the last few weeks, yet there's no coverage of that. And you all continue this narrative of attacking Trump. You just can't stand the fact that he won and that America spoke.
Congressman,
and that,
no,
and that
that's
your
not
view
the
is
case.
very
That's
diminished.
not the case at all.
And your view is very diminished.
I asked you to come on to ask you about these covered on CNN. What you're saying, this is not Fox, Congressman. You can't just spin a tail and pull the wool over people's eyes.
Yeah.
This is CNN. This is the news. We are asking you to come on and tell the truth.
And that's why more people are watching the Cartoon Network SpongeBob reruns right now, Jim.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about the Clown News Network that, as you guys can see, is the butt of jokes nowadays when it comes to news organizations. And we got to talk about CNN due to the fact that this network seems to be on the verge of collapse, okay? We have talked about CNN and their collapsing ratings, the fact that nobody watches CNN at all. We talked about this so much for the past 4 years or so, okay? And lo and behold, CNN has another layoff, massive layoff that we got to talk about here. But first, we got to talk about this warning that the CNN boss, Mark Thompson, sent to Jake Tapper, Anderson Cooper, and 100 other propagandists, in which he told them, listen, check your Trump derangement, okay? Do not express outrage during Trump's inauguration. Guys, imagine being a so-called news organization and your boss has to go to the so-called journalists and say, listen, guys, be journalists, right? During Trump's inauguration, don't let your emotions get out of control. Actually stick to doing your jobs, right? Check your Trump derangement. Wow. That is damning, right? That is extremely damning. Because you should not have to tell journalists, hey, keep your emotions under control. That's how deranged these people are, okay? Imagine the boss has to call a meeting in to tell the journalists, yo, stop all this Trump derangement, okay? Control yourself, right? Don't lose it on air over Trump being inaugurated. I mean, that is essentially an admission. That is an admission that these journalists are activists, right? And the funny part about this is that these so-called journalists try to play us like we're dumb. Oh, we're neutral, straight down the middle journalists. We just call it like we see it, right? This is what Don Lemon was claiming, okay? And then after he got fired from CNN, he's just become a left-wing activist. He is a far leftist, okay? And he's open about it. So, again, you know, we can see that their political beliefs, their personal beliefs, definitely affect the way that they report the news, okay? Don Lemon was Trump deranged on air, and now that he got fired from CNN, he's Trump deranged on TikTok in his little YouTube channel, right? Yeah, I mean, we know that these journalists are activists. CNN boss Mark Thompson told more than 100 journalists and top on-air talent, including Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper, that they ought to avoid, quote, prejudging President-elect Donald Trump while cautioning them against expressing any outrage of their own during the inauguration, according to a report. Yo, you can't make this up. This is so funny to me. Thompson convened a virtual editorial meeting Sunday that included Tapper, Cooper, and scores of other senior news personalities to discuss CNN's coverage of the inaugural ceremonies that took place the next day in Washington, D.C., according to the Status newsletter. During the meeting, Thompson, quote, made it clear that he did not want the coverage to relitigate the past, according to Status reporter Oliver Darcy, an allusion to CNN's historically hostile relationship with Trump. Thompson asked his charges to avoid editorializing as well as to steer coverage away from focusing on Trump's legal problems, including convictions for falsifying business documents related to the alleged hush money payment, according to the report. Yeah, so even though this CNN CEO is telling staffers, hey, be open-minded, right? Lay off the Trump derangement, keep your emotions in check. Apparently, Jim Acosta, one of the network's most Trump deranged propagandists, apparently he didn't get the message, right? He did not get the message at all because he lost his mind. He blew it in this exchange with Republican Congressman Tim Burchett over the January 6th protesters being released. Take a look.
Let's discuss that and more now with Republican Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee. Congressman, thanks so much for being here. Axios is reporting that Trump's January 6 pardons were a last-minute decision. His team was reportedly wrestling with how to handle them. But according to one advisor, Trump said, quote, "F it, release them all." Your response?
Well, Jim, as always, it's good to be on here for my weekly beating from you all at CNN, and I appreciate you, brother. And I was thinking about you this morning, actually, because I remember Rush Limbaugh, somebody called in when Bill Clinton was elected president, and they said, "Oh, I bet you're depressed." And he said, "Depressed? Heck no, I got 4 years of material." Just think, you've got 4 years of material at least right now.
Well, I'm not so much worried about material, Congressman, as I am about the president releasing violent offenders who attacked the Capitol, where you're standing right now on January 6th, people who are convicted of seditious conspiracy. Do you defend what Donald Trump did, releasing these people from prison, pardoning them, commuting their sentences? Yes or no?
I was the last person to leave the Capitol grounds, the floor of the Capitol, last member of Congress on January 6th when all this went down. I was offended as anybody. If they crossed those barriers, they were breaking the law. But you got to realize, too, they are charged under federal law. Many of them never even saw their day in court and were sitting in a jail cell. So the whole thing is bad news. But you also,
Congressman, I asked you a yes or no question. Do you agree with President Trump's decision to pardon these violent people and releasing them from jail?
If they were truly violent, no. But do I know that they were? I don't know that.
What do you mean you don't know that? We're showing the footage on the air right now. Congressman, you were there that day. There are offenders on January 6th who violently beat police officers. There are offenders who are convicted of seditious conspiracy. That is the truth.
This is a political world, Jim, and I don't remember you all on CNN condemning Joe Biden for commuting the sentences of murderers and child molesters, which he did, and you all
Congressman,
refused,
I'm not asking you about that. Congressman, we talked about Joe Biden's pardons.
You never do, Jim.
Congressman, we did talk about it. We talked about Joe Biden's pardons.
Oh, Jim, you did not. You all read your report from the Democrat National Committee, as you always do, and you attack Americans.
False. Congressman, are you going to respond and say whether or not it is right to let these people out of jail?
I don't know if it is or not. I'm not a lawyer, but I'll tell you what isn't right.
You're a congressman. You're a member of Congress. You're an elected official. Take a stand.
They were not given due process. I told you if they crossed the line, they were trespassers. Should they rot in jail for the rest of their lives in a federal penitentiary and never be charged?
Beating police officer, tasing police officers,
Jim,
seditious conspiracy.
What you're forgetting to say is the ones that he didn't release. Why did he not release those? There are several that he did. This blanket thing you're all talking about is not a blanket. It's not a blanket pardon. There were several that he didn't for those very same reasons. Why are you not focusing on them?
Congressman, we're talking about the leader of the
individuals of
what happened to Back the Blue? What happened to backing police officers? Your party has said time and again, we back the blue. It sounds like you let down the blue. You're betraying the blue.
Jim, why don't you just give an editorial and not let me come on? Look, what happened in the last 4 years with police? What happened with all the riots that took place all across the country? Police officers were murdered. Courthouses were burned. Over 22 police cars were burned. Yet no one went to jail for that. Where's your crocodile tears for that?
Congressman, you're engaging in a game. You're engaging in a game of whataboutism. People were obviously prosecuted after those riots. Every day, all you've done is what we're doing at CNN. We didn't storm the Capitol. These people did, and President Trump let them out of jail.
Yeah. So you seen that, you heard that. Clearly, Jim Acosta did not get the message from the CEO, okay? Because he definitely was editorializing. He was demanding that Tim Burchett come out here and trash Trump for pardoning the January 6th protesters, okay? And Tim Burchett, he just wasn't trying to give Jim Acosta that, right? He wasn't trying to bend the knee. And Jim Acosta loses his mind. He's upset. He's mad. Doing exactly what the CEO said not to do on air. But they can't help themselves, right? They cannot help themselves. They can't stand Republicans. They love Democrats. And then they wonder why their ratings are falling through the roof, okay? CNN's ratings at this point, I'm not sure they can get any lower. So, yeah, they are now laying off hundreds of employees, okay? They're doing a mass layoff due to the fact that their viewership is declining significantly. CNN will lay off hundreds of employees on Thursday, capping a year of financial struggles and falling ratings as the network seeks to pivot towards a digital future, sources said Wednesday. The exact number of Thursday's layoffs, which were first reported by CNBC, is unclear. They will not impact CNN's marquee talent, which includes Jake Tapper, Caitlin Collins, and Anderson Cooper. According to CNBC, CNN declined to comment. Well, see, that's a part of the problem. A part of the problem is that you are continuing to pay these individuals who are not worth what you're paying them, okay? Some of these people get paid 10, 20, 30 million dollars a year, and they're not bringing in that much value, right? They're not. But yet you're paying them. Marquee talent, Jake Tapper, okay. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if CNN was smart, they would give Scott Jennings his own show, right? You have the answer sitting right there at your network. Scott Jennings, give Scott Jennings his own show. If Scott Jennings had his own show, they would actually eat into some of Fox News' audience. I'm not saying it's going to be a really big chunk, but I think whatever time slot they give Scott Jennings, if they give him a prime time slot, I think that CNN at the very least could consistently maybe compete with MSNBC, right? Maybe they could compete with MSNBC. Because you would have conservative and Democrat audiences, conservative and liberal audiences, watching somebody like Scott Jennings, right? See, the thing about Fox News is that for as much as they want to try to roast Fox News as not real news, people watch Fox News from both sides of the political aisle, right? They have the largest number of Republican and Democrat viewers, I believe. That's the crazy part. They got more Democrats watching them than CNN. So it's just funny because CNN, they want to try everything except actually having a conservative host a show. Just give a conservative a show. Have a show that actually focuses on the issues that conservatives and the American people care about. See, again, and that's the magic of Fox News, right? Fox News talks about issues that people actually care about. CNN doesn't talk about issues that people care about. They want to talk about January 6th, right? They want to talk about Elon Musk. Same thing with MSNBC. They want to talk about Trump's legal issues. It's nothing but bashing Trump 24/7. And you're competing with 7, 8 other channels that are doing the exact same thing. They're all bashing Trump 24/7. Until one of these networks figures out that, hey, we should actually move away from that. Let's get somebody that actually has a pro-Trump or pro-conservative perspective. Let's get them to host a primetime show. Let's be a little bit more balanced in our overall coverage. That is the company that will actually see their ratings start to increase. But for whatever reason, they want to try everything except that. The cuts come as CEO Mark Thompson has set his sights on digital as CNN's next frontier, arguing its ratings struggle matter less in an era of online news consumption. CNN's website launched a $3.99 paywall in October, months after laying off 100 employees. It has also reportedly received a $70 million investment from parent company Warner Bros. Discovery earlier this month towards its digital plans. Yeah, so this is going to fail, just like the CNN streaming site. Y'all remember that? I think, what was it, CNN Plus or something like that? You had to pay like $5 to watch Brian Stelter. That thing failed immediately, right? It failed. It failed before they could even have anybody sign up for it. Okay, I mean, it failed before it began. Almost immediately. You can't pay me to watch CNN? Why do you think I would pay to watch CNN? Okay. Bro, I can definitely run these companies better than whoever's running these companies, right? The people that run these companies, they're delusional, man. You have to, again, you're not going to change any of this until you restructure the whole network. You have to fundamentally rebrand the whole network, right? The brand of MSNBC and CNN, they're so tarnished that you can't turn this around via reform. Oh, well, let's make a few tweaks here and there. No, that's not how it's going to work. That's not how it's going to work. It doesn't matter if you go digital. You need to rebrand the whole network, okay? You got to fire everybody, and you got to bring in new talent and have a different perspective, a different approach to news, okay? And until they figure that out, they're going to struggle. Still, its digital pivot has coincided with a precipitous ratings decline throughout 2024, and especially so after the November election. The network had its worst performance in the advertiser-coveted 25 to 54 age demographic last year. A trial this month that found CNN liable for defamation over a 2021 report also revealed the network's revenue decline from $2.2 billion in 2021 to $1.8 billion in 2022. It has since reportedly let some of its top talent salaries stay stagnant. Yeah, so CNN, they're declining significantly in revenue per year, right? So they're a shrinking business, okay? So I know a lot of people are like, oh, how are they still bringing in $1 billion in revenue? And it's like, yeah, they are, but it's declining, right? And in this day and age, you want to be growing, right? If you are a company and you're stagnant, if your revenues are stagnant, you're dying. If your revenues are declining, you're already dead, basically. So again, that is why they're doing all these massive layoffs, and that's why there's so much panic, because a business, a large business like CNN with that type of declining revenue per year, okay, it's a problem, right? Especially considering how their viewership is leaving as well, too. The network has planned to reshuffle its programming as it seeks to retain its audience and cost cuts. CNN has considered shifting Wolf Blitzer, now its longest standing anchor, from the afternoon to the morning, and moved Jim Acosta, who is hated by President Donald Trump, to a graveyard midnight shift. Some of the talent are also being given more to do. It also has moved Collins, the host of primetime show The Source, with a strong line to the Trump administration, back to Washington, D.C. as its chief White House correspondent. Yeah, so basically they are reshuffling, okay? Jim Acosta, they basically on the verge of firing him, right? They're about to get rid of him. They buried him in a midnight shift, right? Where they're just like, nah, we're just not going to put your face on television. Because you can't control yourself. Evidenced by the video I just showed you guys. Dude can't control himself. The boss said, take your emotions out of it. Stop getting so emotional. Be a journalist. Nope, can't do it. Right? Can't do it. Can't do it. So, hey, midnight shift, there you go. Okay? Again, this is hilarious. You cannot make this up, what's happening right there to CNN in the media. This is why I'm just loving life right now, guys. I am loving life. Everything is going so wonderful. We're winning. We're winning. So much winning. It's unbelievable, guys. It's unbelievable. This time 4 years ago, man, was a totally different time period in regards to the headspace that I was in, especially after January 6th. It was not looking good. But hey, you know, this is why you got to hold out. You got to keep fighting, right? You got to keep pushing back, and eventually, you know, things work out. And boy, man, just looking back at a lot of this stuff, what's happening to all these people. It's just unbelievable. It is unbelievable how the tides have turned. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.